bit shows you the best way to handle newspapers and to keep safe on your round, both if you're walking or riding a bike. Let's start with the newspapers themselves. Be careful with bundles. They may seem harmless enough, but if you run your fingers along the edge of a bundle, you can get a nasty paper cut, and paper cuts hurt. Also, you should only use scissors to open bundles. And remember about weights and how you should lift. Just think how many people you've heard complaining about their backs. And how about newspapers and letterboxes? Some letterboxes have a nasty habit of trapping your hand. You do definitely need to push the newspaper all the way through so it doesn't stick out, but don't push your hand through with it. Try and imagine the dog on the other side of the door. Now, let's look at the route you take for deliveries. As general advice, the route you take should avoid busy roads, crossing at junctions where you can't see properly, badly lit areas, zigzagging across roads, crossing railway lines, or canal towpaths. Common sense, really. There's also crime prevention advice. Here's some basics. Wear something bright and stick to the same route. Don't talk to strangers or accept lifts from strangers, or go into houses or any other buildings or get into cars. And how about this? This is called a personal alarm, and it's for use when you're in personal danger. These make a lot of noise when they're set off. If you look in the booklet which goes with this DVD, it will tell you what to do in dangerous situations. Dogs and other animals can also be dangerous. If there's a risk, then don't deliver. Finally, let's look at the important area of road safety for walking and delivering by bike. Let's start with what's called high visibility clothing like armbands and waistcoats. The reason you need to wear these is so you can be seen easily by drivers. They also have reflective strips on them, which are designed to reflect car headlights at night. When you're out on your round, you should always think about traffic. Even when you're walking along the pavement, keep away from the edge of the curb. Trucks and buses can come a bit close sometimes, and you don't want to be near them with a bag if they do. If you're walking past driveways, just think. Someone could be reversing out and not see you. When you cross the road, always look before you cross and keep looking while you're crossing. Try not to cross between parked cars, but if you don't have a choice, make sure you choose a safe gap between them. Also check to make sure you have a safe gap to go to if there's cars parked on the other side of the road. Go to the edge of the cars to look before you cross. There are some things built specifically to help you cross the road safely, like this crossing where you press a button to cross. Wait for the green man. This is a toucan crossing, which is designed so that bikes and pedestrians can cross together. A traffic island lets you cross the road in two halves, and of course there's the older zebra crossings. This type of road engineering is about slowing traffic down, so it makes it safer for people to cross the road. There'll be a difference between town and country deliveries. In the town, you'll have lots of traffic to cope with. In the country, you'll possibly have no pavement to walk along. So always walk facing the traffic when you can. It's safer. If you use a bike, then make sure you've got the right type of bike and you can deliver newspapers safely with it. You need to check your bike is safe. This man will show you how. Remember, a bike check is just to make sure you don't risk life and limb by riding a bike with wobbly wheels, no brakes and bald tyres. So, here's the basics. Let's start with the frame. See that there are no obvious cracks. You don't want this to come apart while you're riding. At the same time, take a quick look at the front forks to see that they're not bent. This is called the bottom bracket. Just check that there's no side-to-side movement in the pedals and make sure that the pedals can rotate freely. The seat and handlebars should be about level with each other and the seat adjusted so the rider can touch the ground like this. The handlebars should only move left and right, and there should be no other movement in the steering head. To check your brakes, put each brake on in turn and try to push the bike. You can easily check the brake pads by just looking at them. Also check the cables to see that they're not frayed. It only takes a few seconds to check brakes, but it's much better to find a fault before you start to ride than find it on the way down a very steep hill. You can check the wheels and tyres together. Your tyres should be pumped up and you should have a good depth of tread and definitely no canvas showing. The wheels shouldn't be buckled or have loose spokes. This is also a good time to check your mudguards aren't loose. Check you have a rear reflector. You are legally required to have one of these and also a bell. Finally, if you have lights fitted, make sure they work before you go out when it's dark. Of course, your bike should be the right size for you and adjusted to fit so that when you sit on it, you can touch the ground like this. Being in the right gear at this point has nothing to do with sprockets and clogs, but is all about what you're wearing. Bright, fluorescent and reflective are the words describing the clothing you need to wear to be seen by other people on the road. You definitely need to stand out from the crowd. Modern cycle helmets look good but also serve a very real purpose. If you fall off and bang your head, the helmet can make all the difference between a near miss and a serious head injury. Right, you're ready to start. Remember, you're on the road, so the highway code applies to you just like it does to drivers. The highway code also says you can't ride on pavements, it's illegal. The most important thing you need to know is how to turn left and right. The first thing you need to remember is always look behind you before you turn and give signals so that other people know what you're doing. Watch this rider. He's really experienced and is a cyclist training instructor. He really knows his stuff. Watch carefully as he turns left and then right. If you deliver in the country rather than the town, riding down country lanes presents its own problems. Whilst they're very pleasant to ride along, they tend to be narrow, so if you come across a sharp bend you can't see round, listen for approaching traffic and be prepared to stop if there's limited space. Well, there's some basic advice, but for a real safety advantage, get some cyclist training. Now there are national standards for riding a bike. Ask at your school or your local road safety office.